Good morning, everyone. My name is John Hierdink, and I welcome to our Tribe Public CEO presentation and Q&A event titled Introducing the World's First Sustainable Agentic AI Cloud Engineer, which will be co-hosted by Richard Thorpe, President and CEO of Pebble Incorporated, along with other members of management and experts from Pebble. Again, Pebble, as it was in the invite, is a company that is at the forefront of the booming AI-powered sustainability market, strategically positioned with the AI hybrid cloud sector, projected to grow at 13 times in the next 5 years. Their innovative platform empowers enterprises to dramatically reduce costs, energy consumption, carbon emissions, and water usage by optimizing AI cloud data centers across hardware, software, and inference in real time. As many of you know, I am the managing member of Tribe Public. Our website is tribepublic.com, TRIBE public.com. Members from 31 plus countries and all 50 states have joined Tribe Public freely to gain direct corporate access to leaders and experts that they care about via our webinar events and via 36 venue sites across the US, from here in San Francisco, where I'm located, across to Philly and back. And that's where we host in-person lunch and dinner and speaking engagements with local Tribe members. Tribe members, furthermore, are invited to submit names of experts and leaders of industry via our free wish list process at our website, adding names of companies, subjects that span across all sectors and interests so that they can learn more. Please note that I'm also the managing director of Vista Partners, LLC, a registered investment advisory in California, and its website is vistapglobal.com. Please review both sets of disclaimers at each site and know that I'm currently a shareholder and advisor to Pebble Incorporated. A video of this event will be published at our Tribe Public YouTube channel and sent out to all post this event via our Tribe This Week, which is our weekly newsletter that goes out at the end of each week. Thank you also to the Pebble team for joining us today. Now let's get started. Hi, Richard. Could you kick things off with maybe telling us a little bit about what brought you here today and to lead Pebble, and then maybe go into your presentation?
By all means, John, and thank you so much for having us again, and thank you to the Tribe Network as well. So, as you've already said, we are Pebble. We are right at the forefront of this incredible and exciting time of agentic AI. So, one of the key kind of areas for us is to make sure that we walk you through the key takeaways that we want from really this presentation, and introduce you to an incredible team I have on the call with me as well. And some of those incredible things to kind of highlight exactly where we are, as we know, in this incredible agentic journey that we are moving so fast in. So at the moment, 1,000 times growth driven by urgent corporate alignment needs. And I think we all kind of know that this industry is big, but I don't think we kind of realize how fast and how big it was moving. And the growth is faster than anything that we've seen. And I think most really realized how quick it was going to be. So the solution as far as we're concerned, is Pebble. We have an incredible team, incredible software solution that can help drive and support this ever-growing need of the agentic space. So being 10 times more accurate, a lot of cost savings that we can go through on this call, and we'll see exactly kind of how we can do that. And Pradeep and the team are doing an incredible job in the development side of the business. So why now in Pebble? It's because the time is now. We are finding ourselves in an unprecedented position with unmatched deployment speed. Data centers can't cope with the current demand, and we're having to find ways of driving efficiencies at every opportunity. And that really drives the exact main driver for Pebble as a whole. And we believe that we can find cost savings of up to 90% in the cloud space by using our incredible technology. So on this takeaway, we also say and see team. I mean, if I can talk, I'm very, very lucky and proud to have an incredible management team, and their staff are also incredible. I mean, just to give you some highlights, just from our management team, we have people from Dropbox, HP, SAP, Honeywell, Cisco, Microsoft, and again, you'll see a few more throughout this deck. The partners that we have aligned ourselves with are, without doubt, the biggest players in the world: Google, AWS, Nvidia, Amazon, and many more coming on board. And the investment opportunity, as we'll go through this deck, is 15 million Series A at the moment. We have already raised a very, very large chunk of that 15 million from our investors. And again, we'll come on to a bit more information around the investment later on in the presentation. And 5 million is being put aside for the accredited investors. So as I've kind of already highlighted with some of the key takeaways, AI, as we know, is completely exploding at the moment. Unfortunately, the infrastructure that we sit that on is imploding. It's dated, it's wasteful, and it's becoming completely unsustainable. So we need to find a way of being able to really find that we can drive optimization and cost savings. So when we start to look at what we're doing at the moment in agentic AI and just AI in general, LLMs are now 10 times more compute intensive than they were before. Then when we start to add on the other areas, we really start to see some of these huge increases of compute. So things like reasoning, agentic AI in general is another 10x. And we can see here on the screen, it's nearly 1,000x just on that increase. So we understand that this is here. The time is now. And I think the biggest thing is it's not just about the energy. I think as we find ourselves in this ever-growing incredible position, the costs are really where we have to highlight. And we believe that's why Pebble is completely the answer of making sure that we can drive incredible cost savings against this incredible position that we find ourselves in. So as you can see some of the things on the screen, but the big area about how we start to drive costs is where we start to look at where this spend is. And that's really around these AI engineers wasting 60 to 80% of their time wrestling with this very old, bloated infrastructure. And our aim is to make sure that we drive efficiencies, cost optimization across those platforms with the incredible software that my team will go through in a minute. So what's the answer? Obviously, I'm going to say Pebble. And the next screen actually says Dennis Martin. So hopefully he's the answer. But I think to quickly just to say, one, very pleased to have Dennis Martin on board, ex-HP. And I'll let him introduce himself and walk you through kind of our go-to-market strategy.
Thank you, Richard. And again, thank you all. I just want to kind of reiterate Richard's appreciation for you all taking the time to listen to this today and kind of take this journey with us this morning, evening, afternoon, whatever your time zone you're in. A little bit about myself, HP, more recently, managed services, artificial intelligence, cloud strategies and structures, managed direct partnerships, and go-to-market strategy with Nvidia and Microsoft and AMD at silica level, and really forecasting the global impact of that and the utilization in different industries as far as AI, which tends to hit us a lot. Other than that, probably some other really notable things, an executive at Ricoh, an executive at Canon, and have started 3 tech startups in my past that turned into unicorn status, thank goodness. And they were really focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So did a lot of time hiring people, not only running sales and go-to-market, but hiring people with PhDs in physics, mathematics to create a lot of AI algorithms and building out infrastructure around that ourselves and learning about that globally and how to support it, as well as working for companies like StackPath. So building out data centers all over the world and then being a cloud hosting provider and supporting not only other data center cloud hosting providers, but also software as a service companies that were offering services to their clients all over the world or they needed infrastructure, aka cloud. They're running their applications on, which then became more and more so AI, really taking up our compute and bandwidth. So anyways, that's me at an extremely high level. Let's get into some more of the juicy stuff here. So, so you heard from Richard about the industry exploding. Kind of the why now is this next slide. So don't just take it from us, really starting with Forbes. So let's look at the financial side of the house. You're probably familiar with Forbes. So the financial world, what's going on? Agentic is the next frontier. It is causing rapid growth. It is not going to cause rapid growth. It has caused rapid growth, and it expected to continue. That's from a comment from them in March 2025, so not long ago. Let's jump to the energy side of things, the U.S. Department of Energy. And I just have a few quotes here. There's many, there was way too many for me to put here, but we want to kind of build kind of the messaging here so you understand the why now. Data center energy usage has tripled over the last 10 years. That's important. What's even more important to understand is they're projecting, and what is this, 2025? This was in December, so they saw this a couple of months ago going in, that it is going to again double or triple, but in the next couple of years. So we're looking at what took a decade is now going tighter and tighter and tighter. That's accelerating the need for what the Pebble platform provides. U.S. Department of Energy, and then Gartner. So these people that are out there, the ones that are the cloud service providers, the customers with these giant data centers, they're seeing what Forbes is saying. They're seeing what the Energy Crunch is saying. What is Gartner, Forrester, other organizations like that telling them? You need to focus on AI. You need to focus on automation. You need to focus on sustainability. You need to focus on regulatory compliance. How are you going to hit all these things? Okay, outside of us on this call. So I just wanted to kind of build that framework for you. So again, why now? Agentic and AI models driving massive uptick. That's why you hear those things from Forbes, the Department of Energy, Gartner, and others out there. A rush to deploy AI. AI is great. It's needed. It has become more prime time. We've seen the explosive growth. It's only going to increase, but it's very unoptimized. So there's been the rush to do it, and it has been happening, and it continues. But now everyone's trying to figure out, how do I manage it? How do I have insights into what we've rolled out and how we're managing it? How can we get smarter with this? How can we start saving some money? Energy is a big part of that. Going back to the U.S. Department of Energy quote, it's a huge part of it. There's huge constraints. Even in some of my background that I gave you a moment ago, we already started to see constraints both in the compute world as AI started to be adopted in a more broader sense, but then in the energy consumption. So both legacy technologies that's out there and all this new stuff that's being bought, all these data center build-outs. Energy is a huge concern. So how can I better manage my energy cost? How can I better use my energy with my environment I currently have out there? And then global acceptance of climate change. That's going to be a little different area by area, but that's still a big deal. And most companies currently today, they really look at it from we have a team that has to work on these things. We have to report whether they're a more heavily regulated industry or they're not. They still are tracking scope 1, 2, 3, or doing some internal report and posting it if they're a public company. Even if they're private, they're backing into these things. There's still an operational burden there. So that's how we get my last quote on there about Pebble empowering up to a 90% savings. That's across the board between compute, energy, and carbon emissions, and even water consumption, because all these things cost money. Let's go to the next slide there. So Falcon saves corporations millions. I wanted to kind of highlight that a little bit into how we do this. I don't want to go too deep dive because the next presenter, our CTO, is going to give you some nice real-time example of what we're talking about as far as the Pebble Falcon platform. But Falcon Agentic offers those cost savings. It really helps our customers have those actionable insights at their fingertips. So what that means, and I thought of how to summarize this in 10 minutes for my slides today, but what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. It means that as people are investing more into infrastructure, that means compute, and they have energy to run their compute, and they have cooling they have to think about. Our platform, Pebble, gives you actionable, real-time insights to help you better manage your business with a handful of people, takes out the complexity of automated processes, and gives you the data at your fingertips. Because let's face it, more data is being captured than ever in the history of the world. It's what you do with it. So we're giving you, we're empowering you, we're empowering our customers the ability to go in and look at and better manage what they have and get better control of what they've got and be able to do reporting around what they've got to make important decisions and or from a regulatory compliance. So again, we've listed out a few things here. Agentic means the automation side of it from an AI perspective. It acts like that always on engineer where you've got human beings. And in my experience managing data centers all over the world, what do people do? They fat finger information, they get sick, they miss something. This doesn't miss it. This doesn't get sick. This doesn't take a vacation. So you've got that employee, that's the agentic AI running in the background in Falcon, Pebble Falcon, giving you those insights and giving you those insights and giving you those insights. Infrastructure costs. What I meant by that is it really customers are able to, with Pebble Falcon, look at what do I have today and how can I better manage it? Better managing it, and it also goes into empowering sustainability, but better managing your IT infrastructure, which also goes into the power, is not only better to make decisions on what you have and how you use it and when you use it and when you run your AI models and so forth. It also comes into your decisions from a customer perspective on how can they extend the life of their IT infrastructure investment now, and then what do they need to do down the road. A big thing that resonates right now with tariffs and with Taiwan and with China and all these other areas making a lot of the silicon that's going into a lot of these devices that run in data centers running AI is I can't get my hands on the technology. So how can I better manage what I have today? This helps them better manage what they have today and make intelligent decisions, extend the life cycle of their infrastructure, and better manage what they have today. And then sustainability optimization. Again, what do I have? How can I better report on that? How can I cut energy spending? And again, from an operational standpoint, typically whether someone has one or they have a team of 100, they're usually looking at their environment, not just on energy usage and cost, but on sustainability reporting. They've got to have that. They've got to have that for their board. They've got to have that for their customers, external facing. Let's go to the next slide here. So anyways, all of that plays into this. I won't spend a lot of time on this slide. So again, how do I connect the dots, Dennis? This is how you connect the dots and some of the value that I just mentioned again. Compute life cycle, it can make a difference, 20 to 40% on someone's spend. That's typically the bulk of what someone who is a high-level P&L owner, the value of, again, Pebble Falcon here. How can I extend the life of what I have and better utilize my legacy equipment, assuming I can't get my hands on new gear, new data centers and so forth. Energy and cooling, that has gone up and up. Now that's roughly from a data center perspective, 30% of the overall cost. Cloud services, this also helps someone not only with on-prem data centers, but also someone who's leveraging Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS Web Services. Who's better for me to use and why? So you make more intelligent decisions. And then operations. I've got a staff who's doing this. So this also eliminates swivel chair. Now I can do more with less. I can automate my reporting. I can automate my decision-making process. Let's jump to the next slide here. So just a quick example here. So what does this really mean? There are tools out there. There are different companies that make different tools for different things. We come at it very uniquely in what we do. There's a lot of alerting platforms. Alerting platforms will show somebody, hey, the red dot is bigger. So you have a bigger problem. This, from an AI agentic perspective, has insightful analytics. It really looks at a customer's overall environment, what's on-prem, what are they using from a cloud provider perspective, and it looks at it from a sustainability and energy cost perspective. Puts it all together, it really enriches the data that they have from other sources and maybe from other tools, whether manual or other solutions that they have in their environment. So it really gives them holistically, it closes the gap that we traditionally see that customers really struggle with. Next one. So just kind of almost wrapping, I think, my piece up there. Falcon, the other thing about us that's very meaningful is we have those relationships. We just don't tout integrations. We actually have partnerships that we put together with Google, with Amazon, with Nvidia, with Microsoft, and we support your data center as well. So this slide I meant more for the audience and really for you all to get a feel for who we work with. We also, this solution is a very high value to Google, to Amazon, to Nvidia, and others. They see it. We go to their events as well, but that's a very strong partnership. And what does that equate to at the end of the day? It makes the Pebble Falcon even more valuable because it isn't just another solution. It's a solution that works with 99%, if not 100%, of all the scenarios that customers are faced with today. Every single one of them. So whether they're using one of the big cloud providers or they have their own on-prem data center, it brings value to them. And then I'll jump to my last slide here before I hand things off to the next presenter. So what's the opportunity? So the opportunity is this. Really, there's a huge AI boom. Again, going back to my first slide that I really presented, you all have read this in the news. We've seen articles about it. It just continues and continues and continues. And fundamentally, really, as we sum up in this, my last slide here, it's really rethinking how do we deploy, how do we manage, how do we monitor infrastructure, the applications, the hardware, the power consumption around all of this, the reporting that we have to do around this, sustainability targets and initiatives. So really what we've done with Pebble Falcon is really building that layer that fixes this. Again, it fills the gap. It completes from an insights, actionable insights, that for customers all over the world in different industries that do different things. Really helps them better to optimize their compute usage, slashes waste, automates infrastructure. Automation is a huge thing. I know a lot of companies like to talk about they've automated, but they haven't. So it helps them to really automate things around their decision-making process, gives them really visibility. So it gives them more real-time command and control, and really helps them with innovation, which is only speeding up, not slowing down. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Pebble's CTO, Pradeep Gadam.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Hello, everyone. My name is Pradeep Gadam. I'll give a quick about me is I've been a CTO here at Pebble, and before this, I came out of Dropbox as their head of engineering. And prior to that, I built and sold a company in the edtech space and lots of startup and big company experiences before that. I'll try to sort of give you guys a bit of a sneak peek into what this product is without obviously giving away too much in a public domain. But at a high level, we are building AI agentic system that sort of monitors your cloud and data center in real time and constantly make sure that you're consuming less energy, you're producing less carbon emissions, and then you're paying less for the compute, and then you're not wasting any time or money in operations. So this is the system that Dennis and Richard mentioned about. I'll share my screen and sort of give you a glimpse of what this is. How does it really work for a typical enterprise? Now, for a typical enterprise, we start on this page. Like whenever we onboard a customer, the customers often have a lot of complex cloud environments. So they have some of their bunch of data centers where they have bits and pieces of their footprint. They have AWS, and they might be using Azure and GCP as well. So for this example, what you're seeing is that this particular account is connected to one GCP, and there are 3 Azure accounts and 1 on-prem account. Now, what it's doing right now is it's scanning all of these cloud environments for you. It's pulling and it's measuring accurately how much carbon are you emitting every day from all of these cloud environments. Now, this was not done before, and doing this is not only inaccurate, but it's a tremendous amount of work, absolutely not knowing how to measure this. So we solved this first problem for them. And what you're seeing here is you're not only seeing the breakdown of how much, for example, this company emits about 131 kilograms of carbon dioxide every day. And then you have this cumulative emissions where in the last month, you produced about 3,800 kgs of CO2 into atmosphere. Now, this number is the precious number that they need. If not for us, it would have been a lot of process, manual labor, and all of that for the companies to measure this and make this part of their reporting. So we solve this first problem. So when we start here, and then we give them a ways of slice and dice this data to understand what are the services that are actually running in the cloud, and what is the breakdown? Like in this case, if you look at Azure Kubernetes service, that's that makes up about 32% of your carbon emissions. And if you're smart, you would just focus on that and then try to bring down your carbon emissions, right? So it helps you really understand how does your carbon emissions really split across your entire cloud and various services. Now, when we start with this, generally the enterprises are in a bit of a panic mode because they've never knew before this that they're emitting so much carbon. Now, we just don't leave them here, but we give them tools and systems to really bring this down in a more meaningful way without really affecting the performance of their entire business. Now, how do we do that? So this is where we start. So for example, what you're looking here is
Pradeep, if I could just jump in real quick, I don't think you're sharing the live screen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Hold on one second. So can you see me here? So
Desktop.
you see
There we
my
go.
desktop. So
Yep.
you see this
There we go. A
screen.
second ago. Yep. Perfect.
What about now?
Yes. Perfect.
That's
Okay.
correct, yes.
Perfect. So now what did we do? So we scanned all your cloud environments at the top, measured your carbon footprint, and then now we'll tell you how do we really help you bring it down. Now we're going a level deeper into your environment. And what you're seeing right now is, for example, we are measuring your AWS specific cloud footprint. And what you're seeing here is, for example, in the last 30 days, your AWS environment produced so many grams of carbon into the atmosphere. And it's coming mostly from 3 nodes, three servers, and then 27 applications. And then if you look at the amount of idle power, so of the carbon emissions that you're seeing here, majority of it is coming from servers just sitting there idle. So this, just using this one insight, you can understand what servers to turn off and then save money on its energy, compute, and carbon emissions. Now, if we zoom in a little into this, then we're not only telling you that, hey, you're producing so many grams of carbon, but with a one line change, if you move from US West 1 to EU West 2, your carbon emissions are going to tremendously reduce. About 90% of your carbon emissions are going to go down just by making a one line change to your cloud environment. And so these are the kind of insights that I'm talking about. Now, we try to give you a lot of ways to understand. Like, for example, you're seeing, we are helping you understand how much each of your agents consume, how much each of your applications consume in terms of what do they consume in energy, how much carbon they put out, what is the breakdown. So once we deploy a system like this, which can understand and measure the details of all your infrastructure and applications, then we deploy a bunch of our agents that operate on this data to constantly reduce your energy, carbon, and compute footprint and save a ton of money for you. And these are the savings that are sitting there right now, but no one had reaped, no one had figured out how to save them. And that's exactly what we are trying to squeeze out all these savings, just sitting there, not good for planet, not good for their business, and it's just simple waste of a lot of compute and energy. So I'll try to give you another sneak peek. For example, here is what you're saying. This is one of our agents, which is constantly looking at all your energy alerts coming from your system, and it's resolving all these alerts in real time. Like what you're seeing here is this agent managed to resolve 75 of these alerts, which would have been, if you even multiply each alert with a day, that's about 75 engineering days of effort that we are saving just by in the last literally 6 hours. And these alerts are often not looked into because there's not human potential or bandwidth available in enterprises. So we constantly monitor, understand, and then make sure that your system is fully optimized for compute, energy, and carbon emissions. So I know this is a very little bit of time. Just try to give you as much as possible in terms of what we do here. But we're happy to walk you through more details later as well. But with that, let me stop sharing, and then I'll transfer the control over to Richard. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pradeep, and thank you, Dennis. I think hopefully all of you will agree that we've got an incredible team, and obviously the two gentlemen you've just seen here are very, very good, and I'm very lucky to have them as part of the management team. You'll see some of the other management team on the screen here, as I mentioned before, all from incredible companies, SAP, Dropbox, as we've already seen with Pradeep, and HP with Dennis, but also lots and lots of other brands and incredible companies. And then as we go on to our advisory board, we have very, very incredible people as well. So the likes of Mr. Carl Page, many of you may know, but also involved with Yahoo, Microsoft, Google, and then Philippe Christo, who's one of our main kind of sustainable advisors. An incredible background, obviously linking to his father, our chairman, Mr. Chet White. Incredible backgrounds across the whole of the advisory board, from incredible banks like Wells Fargo, UBS to Cisco, and then as you can also see on the screen, Mr. Mike Tesla and also Ravi Chandra, and their backgrounds are unbelievable, and we're very, very lucky to have them as part of our advisory board to make sure that we're steering the ship in the right direction and helping us along the way. I think to reiterate just some of the main points that we went at the start of this presentation, and really to cover off some of the great stuff that both Dennis and Pradeep mentioned, is that we are in an incredible position of time at the moment. We find ourselves right at the right space. And, when we start to look at things in the market that we can be compared against, Cursor always springs to mind for a lot of investors and a lot of people looking to invest. And some people pick themselves because they miss the opportunity. And, with Pebble, they have that opportunity again. And you'll see here that we know this is a high growth opportunity, but the huge margins in this opportunity as well. And you'll see some of those examples on the screen at the moment. Financially, as I talk about margins and customers, we are, as we know, this industry riding an incredible wave at the moment, and you'll see some of those numbers on the screen. By all means, if anyone would like this information, we can share it after the call through John and the team. But the numbers are incredible. I think we will see that these are actually very conservative, but I think we need to be very careful of what we're doing here. But we have an incredible opportunity for us to be able to realize this opportunity at the moment, being able to help the industry, being able to help reduce costs, and making sure that we can allow these data centers and other large cloud users to really get the most out of what they have. So to summarize, we have a huge high growth, high margin opportunity. The Agentic AI is growing faster than anything that we've ever seen, and at a compute power that we've not really ever heard of. We have an incredible team, as I've mentioned several times, and I'll try not to keep going over it, but with the background and experience to deliver. And we have the partners to also help support us on that journey to make sure that we do deliver. And I really can't say strongly enough that the timing is now. We know how fast this industry is moving. And I think all of you probably on the call or watch this video or this interview, will know the opportunity value. It speaks for itself. Investors who understand what's coming, I think, will completely understand that being able to understand the one times growth, but also the opportunity to have 90% optimization savings is an incredible opportunity for an investor to be involved in. And we're very lucky as part of Pebble to make sure that we can enjoy that journey. So how do you get involved? To date, Pebble's raised just over 10 million from 7 institutional investors to help us bring this product to market. Our institutions actually are crossover and venture hedge funds. I think it's important to mention that, because obviously, if those you do know or don't know, they're making sure that they need to see some liquidity event quite quickly, which is always nice and confident, gives some peace of mind, I think, to investors. So at the moment, from the current raise of 15 million, we have 5 million has already been kind of taken by our current investors. 5 million for accredited investors, I mentioned earlier in this presentation, and 5 million reserved for strategic VC partners. As you can see from some of the slides and also Dennis's section, you will see some of these incredible partners we already have, and obviously we're already in discussions around capital deployment. As I mentioned, this liquidity target earlier, because of our institutional current investors, we want to make sure that this event does happen quite quickly, and we're looking at that event to happen within the next 18 to 36 months. And we think that can be done as quick as we can. We, as I said, things move much quicker in this agentic AI world than any other industry I've ever experienced, and I'm sure the same for the team. So that being said, I'd like to say thank you so much to everyone, and thank you again to the team. And I'll hand it back to you, John. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks again, Richard, Dennis, and Pradeep. And it's exciting to be involved with where you guys at this on this voyage you have set out with Pebble. It's pretty exciting, and I'm trying to devour, along with a number of other tribe members across the world, as much information as possible on agentic AI, artificial intelligence, how it's affecting the world. So thanks again for participating this morning and presenting. There are 3 questions I'd like to, before we drop off of here, and I know we're getting short on time, but here are 3 questions. The first one is, how is Pebble's agentic AI cloud engineer able to see rapid customer adoption like the cursor's 1 million to 100 million in 6 months?
Yeah, great question. I think as the CEO, I would say even better, but I'm a bit salesy as well. I think is, as I said, in the perfect position at the moment. But I don't know, Pradeep, maybe from a CTO perspective, would you like to answer some parts on that question? You're on mute.
Yeah, so the agentic AI is it's going to change a lot of things, right? So for example, one, it's not only going to make humans enormously productive at the amount of code that they're going to write, but they're also going to dramatically improve the amount of code that the agent themselves are going to write. So it's the amount of code that will be written is going to exponentially increase. Now, this code has to run somewhere. This is not going to run in the air. It has to run in some kind of compute, which means you need to find enormous amount of servers and compute to run all of this. So all of this is going to just explode in terms of and then one use case that you cannot stay away from, especially now, is not using these tools to write your code and not adopting these tools in your enterprises. Like, you can wait on opening up your data using agents for enterprises until you figure out a lot of the security issues. But if you delay in adopting these tools in your enterprise, then you're going to delay significantly, and everyone recognizes that. And that's one of the reasons we've seen this tremendous growth. At the same time, it's going to come at a lot of the cost for compute and energy and environment.
Thank you, Pradeep. If we may move on to, in the essence of time, the other 2 questions. The next one is, does Pebble have proprietary IP around its agentic platform that is defensible and may be of interest to acquirers?
Yes, I'll quickly answer that. And again, we're out of time. So yes, so Pebble has filed a preliminary patent for the agentic side of our architecture. And again, happy to share more information under obviously NDA and further conversations. But yes, we have patented technology that we've filed, and we're waiting obviously for those things to come back. But we're confident that will be approved.
Okay, I guess if someone wanted to go deeper in that, you have a data room that you've for investors that want to go deep. So note that the people that are on here and those that are consuming the video after this. The next question is, when do you expect to close the round, and can you describe the 18 to 36 month premium liquidity objective?
Yes, by all means. I think obviously the liquidity thing I've probably covered off a little bit on the last slide, but I think the timing is going to be pretty quick. We're kind of about 60% already funded now through this target of 15 million. And I think the timing, just an example, the last Tribe event, I think has nearly been seen now by 13 or 14,000 investors. And the interest is really there. I think people are seeing and looking for an opportunity to invest in this incredible space that we find ourselves in. And, it's moving very fast. So for us, we're lucky. But I think, therefore, we see this closing probably within 30 days.
Okay. Well, I thank you all again for participating today, presenting to us, and for all the tribe members from around the world that have come in here and that will consume the video after this. Just to remember, reminder, sometime today, depending on my flights, I'll get this published at the Tribe Public YouTube channel. And then we'll be also, if you haven't are not receiving notifications there yet, we'll also be sending out to the Tribe this week by the end of this week. And if you, for any reason, want the video before then, just ping me at john@tribepublic.com. And, you know, if you want to see the Pebble team in your tribe city or host a follow-up presentation or webinar to address additional questions and learn more as they progress, the wish list process is always there 24/7, 365, or again, just send me an email. I look forward to hearing from all of you around the world, and I look forward to the success of Pebble and to learning more as we move forward. So again, Richard, Dennis, Pradeep, thank you so much. And thank you, Pebble, and thank you, the tribe. And I look forward to connecting and seeing you across our footprint across the world here. So again, thanks again.
Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.